Hi, this is Joe again with another review. For the sake of this video, I'm going to be discussing the 1977 film, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, I'm starring Richard Dreyfuss, Terry Gore, sorry I forgot, drawing a blank on who else starred in this film. This film was written and directed by Steven Spielberg. I think this might have been, I may be wrong, but I think this might be the third film that Spielberg ever directed. And the second one that became a big hit, following, of course, Jaws. And, of course, this film came out the same year as the first Star Wars movie. So, of course, there's a tie-in there when science fiction film, or big budget science fiction films, were making a resurgence in 1977. Following, of course, Star Wars and now Close Encounters. Of course, this film, like I said earlier, was written and directed by Steven Spielberg, and I'm surprised that he even wrote this thing, but neither here nor there. Of course, this movie is, of course, based on this crazy UFO sightings and contacts with UFOs and the secret meetings between humans and space aliens. And that's what happened. Basically, what happens in this film. Richard Dreyfuss plays like an average schnook, or an average Joe, and he's all working late one night, and he gets an encounter with aliens, and he sees space aliens. He's in his truck is stuck, nothing works, and all of a sudden he sees a spaceship right over his truck, and he gets sunburned. And that's one of the creepiest things in this film. Is half his face, or the left side of his face gets all sunburned, and his arm gets completely sunburned because of the radiation and the heat that was generated by the spaceship. And not only did he have this encounter, but a bunch of other people have encounters still seeing the spaceships and stuff. And have really close, like the title of the film, real close encounters of the space aliens. And people was having these visions of having like this mountain. Either they drew a mountain, or they painted this particular mountain, made mountains of mud piles. And that's what Richard Dreyfuss was doing through a chunk of this movie, was making a mountain. Oh, I have to go over this place. And he gets obsessed with building a model of this particular mountain, which I think was in Utah, Wyoming, this particular mountain. And so he goes there, and his wife was played by Terry Gore. I think that this is one of her first movie roles, if not her first movie role, was in this one. Of course, later on, she was in movies like Mr. Mom and Tootsie, later on in the 80s. But anyway, she gets so disgusted with Richard Dreyfuss that she leaves him. Because he became so obsessed with this mountain. Not only him, but he hooked up with this woman whose son, and this is one of the most dramatic sequences in the film, when the son gets abducted by aliens. And of course, that type of thing wasn't really talked about that much in 1977. When people being, abducted by aliens. So this little kid gets abducted by aliens, and he opens up the door, and you see the spaceship, and that was really one of the most dramatic shots of this film, and it's really one of the highlights of this movie was when the kid opens up the door, and you see this alien. You didn't really see the aliens till the end of the film, but when he gets abducted, the mother goes searching for the kid, and she joins up with Richard Dreyfuss to go to this area where they drew this mountain, and they found the mountain was not only that they found it, but other people who had similar experiences that Richard Dreyfuss had, or the mother of this kid had, went there, and the aliens took them onto the spaceship at the end of the film, and the kid who was abducted earlier went with, was released from the aliens. And the aliens, of course, are the stereotypical aliens with a big head, and the big eyes, small eyes, and it came from movies like Close Encounters. And of course, you had stuff like movies with aliens depicted like that. And of course, people say, "Oh, I saw those aliens too. I was abducted too by these aliens." and that type of nonsense was going on. It was not nonsense. I mean, a lot of people do believe in that stuff. I do watch a lot of those videos on YouTube, especially with the UFO hunters. Those few shows that's on of that series, of the History Channel series that's on YouTube. Talk about stuff like that. But anyway, and getting off topic. When Close Encounters was a very, very good movie, but unfortunately, a lot of the stuff with the space aliens coming in and they were edited later on, because naturally you didn't have CGI to fall back on in those days. Everything in that movie had to be like edited in later on with the very limited computer graphics in those days. And of course, George Lucas was getting his special effects company, Industrial Light and Magic, was just starting, was just kicking off then. So I don't know if they had a hand in helping with the special effects for Close Encounters, because like I said, it came out the same year as Star Wars, and so I don't know if the company was fully active yet to start on the special effects with for Close Encounters like they did with Star Wars. I'm not 100% sure on that. Please comment on the video if you know if they had a hand in helping out with the special effects. Please click on right on the comments section here. If I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong on that fact. But the movie itself, it is a very, very good science fiction film. Is it one of the greatest ones? Maybe over the years, it's gotten dated. I mean, it is 40 years old now this year, 2017. Whatever left of 2017 that is, and it's 40 years old. So you could argue it's maybe a little bit dated, but especially the storyline, the plot, because at the end of the movie, it's about maybe 20-25 minutes. You have maybe 5 or 6 lines of actual dialogue, and the last 20-25 minutes of this film. It's all music. It's all people looking up. Wow, like that with their faces down like that. Because a lot of those looks, when people looking up and standing up in awe of this UFO, the producers of the movie Independence Day took a lot of that stuff and put that in the movie. Or they copied that with the spaceships coming in and people going, oh wow, look at that. That's what a lot of that stuff at the end of Close Encounters was, those types of looks. And it's, like I said, it is a good movie. It is a good performance by Richard Dreyfuss, but I like Richard Dreyfuss better in Jaws than in this movie. But he does give a good performance. Terry Gore also gave a pretty good performance. Kind of like Terry Gore, because I always thought she was kind of cute, especially when she was on Star Trek and in Tootsie. I thought she was very, very good in those movies. Well, not a Star Trek movie. She did an episode of the original Star Trek series, which was about like almost 10 years earlier, before she did Close Encounters. But I always thought Terry Gore was kind of cute and very good in comedic roles. But in this movie, I thought she was quite good, even though she acted like a jerk towards Richard Dreyfuss, because he became so, like I said earlier, he became so obsessed with these aliens, trying to figure out what happened to him. And because he was delayed, like I mentioned earlier in this video, because the aliens stopped him, he ended up losing his job as a truck driver. Whatever, he lost his job because of what happened with his encounter with his close encounter with the aliens, when the UFOs came over his head. But I'm telling you, I thought it was a very good performance by Richard Dreyfuss. Good movie, good quality movie all the way around. And that's when people, after Jaws, that's when Spielberg became obsessed with doing these fantasy films, like Close Encounters and E.T. later on. Of course, Hook, many years later with Hook. When he does a lot of these or Jurassic Park and stuff, and those big budget films. But Jaws was was his first hit, and then Close Encounters was his next big hit, and it's you can see where the sugary sweet stuff story was with the storyline with the little kid. Uh, that movie was definitely a good movie to check out, especially if you haven't been a science fiction fan. To check it out. Like I said earlier, it could be, you could argue it's a little bit dated, especially with the storyline, especially with the little conspiracy theory they were keeping the people out of this area, or the military did. Also, by the way, I should also mention before I shut up, you could also look for a very, very small cameo by Carl Weathers, who played Apollo Creed in Rocky. And Rocky came out the year before, so in 1976. So in 77, he played like a small role as an army officer trying to get, a military officer to try and get the people, to evacuate the people from this town. So you can look for Carl Weathers if you have a Rocky movie fan. You can see Carl Weathers in this movie. One of the few. I don't know how many roles Carl Weathers did in between the Rocky films. When he during the first 4 Rocky films, but when you could check him out in this one, I mean, it was fun. It was funny to see him in this movie. Say, hey, there's Apollo Creed. Because I haven't seen this movie for a long time. I haven't seen this movie, and I saw it again recently. And I said, it's a good movie. I liked it, but I thought that Richard Dreyfuss was too obsessed with the with the aliens in the mountains and all that type of thing. I thought it was way too over the top obsessed, and that's what kind of turned me off a little bit of this movie. It took a long time to get to the end of the film. The beginning of the film, when you had the first close encounter, in the beginning of the film, I thought that was good, and the mystery was good. And then, of course, at the end, that was good as well. I think there are 3 things that was good, 3 good scenes in this film. The one they mentioned earlier with the kid, when the little kid gets abducted. The scene earlier with Richard Dreyfuss when he's in the truck, when he had a close encounter. And of course, the sequence at the end of the film, when you see the UFO and you see the aliens and exchanging the people with the people who were abducted before, being dropped off by the aliens, and the people, like Richard Dreyfuss' character, goes onto the alien ship at the end of the film, and the ship flies away, kind of like an E.T. So it's a very similar ending to what E.T. was in this film. So that's my review of the movie Close Encounters. Please click on the video, feel free to comment on it. Please subscribe to my channel, and please forward this video to your Facebook pages. You can check out all my reviews on my YouTube channel at rowdyc.com. That's OWDY. C.com. There's a homepage of the Rowdy Reviewer, Chris Lee Moore, and please check out all of his videos on his website as well. Thanks for watching, and catch you next time.